What about that Whack 100 beef?
The Whack 100, man. Let me say my piece on Tupac.
I think they, what with Tretch, I think they squashed it.
Yeah, I think they just squashed it, man. But it was like, it's like clownery, man. When it becomes like that, you got like two, who Tretch is a legend. I hold Tretch in high regard. I think he's a hip hop legend, man. But you got two like 40-plus-year-old men, almost 50-year-old men, like beefing, you know, or defending Pac's honor, which I don't think Pac needs help defending his honor. You know, I think, and so, but basically getting upset when Wack basically saying like Pac wasn't a gangster. Pac wasn't a gangster. By all accounts, Pac wasn't a gangster. Pac was the son of a ex-Black Panther, but he wasn't a Black Panther. You know what I mean? Like Jadakiss said one time in a rap, he said, you know, dead rappers get better promotions. So like we live in a world where these people are martyrs. The Tupacs, the Biggies, more so Tupac than anything else. Aaliyah's, so you can't say anything negative about them. The reality is Pac wasn't a gangster. Pac was more follower than the leader any day. Many would say that he got himself killed being a follower, being involved in like gangbang beef that he had nothing to do with. Many would say that there's evidence that points and leads to that. So the reality is Pac wasn't a gangster. He was more influenced than the influencer, even though he had a voice that people listened to and had very poignant and intelligent things and ideas, and he was very passionate about his community. At the end of the day, he still wasn't a gangster, you know. And so, like I said about the 22 Savage guy, the energy you invite in, be careful, because that can get you killed. Pac is the prime example of that. You know what I mean? Biggie was a prime example of that. So like we have to start being realistic with ourselves. Still a beautiful soul, still very intelligent and compassionate, had a lot of passion, a lot of good was Tupac. But at the same time, we can't pretend as if by the definition now or definition then he wasn't a gangster. Was he around a lot of gangster people? Yes. But at the same time, with the 9 months he was on death row, he was completely different than who he was before he went to jail. You know what I mean? So like we built the Goliath out of the Tupac myth and the Tupac stories without being realistic. You know, the reality is, born in New York. His first rap name was MC New York. Went to school in Baltimore. Went to the School of Performing Arts. Wanted to be an actor. Fell in love with hip hop. Started moving around with Digital Underground. His story is very like storied and still a cool story. But at the same time, if somebody says Tupac wasn't no gangster, he wasn't. And so Whack 100 wasn't like really saying nothing negative about him. He was kind of just stating facts that people on the West Coast already know, especially people as old as Whack, who was around as long as Whack was and was banging and was deep in the street as long as Whack was. He's kind of just stating the facts people who are old heads, OGs, and all those people already knew.
And that's kind of like if people say Elvis wasn't the king of such and such.
But white people don't do that. White people don't do that.
I'm saying, if you was to say that, you go out and say, oh, Elvis wasn't this, Elvis wasn't that.
I mean, he wasn't. I mean, he was a culture vulture. I mean, he probably loved the culture, but Elvis popularized. Well, so he took an art form in rock and roll that was predominantly black, and then he was the face of it. So I mean, he wasn't the king of anything anyway. So, but I understand what you're saying. But at the same time, the truth is the truth, whether you're alive or you're dead. You know what I mean? So, Pac was influential, passionate, got songs that still touch you to this day. But at the same time, there are negatives about him, and there are things that just simply aren't true. That we hold as myths, and people will blast you for saying. But the reality is, what Wack was saying, what Flex was saying, and a host of other people who were privy to the situations that was going on, like, cause this beef started from a Flex going live like on Instagram or something like that, pretty much saying, you know, you know, just voicing his opinion on Tupac and really not really, you know, saying that Pac is not what people portray him to be. You know, because obviously Funk Master Flex was a friend of Biggie Smalls. That was his friend.
So you want to think that he's kind of salty about this new movie, about how it's coming out?
I mean, it could be, because it's like if somebody like smacks your mother, right? Or somebody rapes your mother. Let's even take it further. Somebody rapes your mother, right? And after you've started to heal from that, or at least you are comfortable with moving on with life, somebody makes a movie of the guy who raped your mother, right? So it opens up new wounds. Of course, even though you've probably forgiven the situation, forgiven him, you talk to God or whatever you believe in, it still opens up an old wound. It still turns it into like something where it's like a new scab. So it could be because that new Pop movie's coming out, but if something reminds you of something, it's like if your wife cheated on you. If your wife cheated on you and you've forgiven her and you guys are made up, you guys are moving forward in your marriage, and then the guy that she cheated on you with starts to work with her again at the job she works at, it's going to bring up all new emotions. You know what I mean? So like it could be a combination of all that. You know what I mean? So it's not like a knock on Tupac, but at the same time, you gotta understand that there's people like who are on the other end of the stick of a Tupac. You understand? People who suffer in a different way. So there's people who miss Biggie who hold him responsible for that. For what, by all, you know, for pretty much saying that, you know, that Biggie had something to do with it, of him getting robbed in Quad Studios all that first time when he got shot, and blaming him for that when a lot of accounts say that Biggie had nothing to do with it. And even in Tupac interviews, he's not necessarily saying that Biggie had something to do with it, but at the same time saying that he should have known about it because he's Frank White, he's the king of New York. So it's just like somebody's logic from being upset, not realizing who they influence, which I think what happened with Tupac in that situation is he didn't realize how many people actually listened when he talked.
Well, no, that like Wack 100, he came out and said something about, you know, Pac ain't had nothing to do with Biggie being killed.
And, I mean that too, but at the same time,
but we still saying that it's because of Pac saying something and Biggie's dead. So we have to go back and set that right too.
The reality is, none of us who are not close to that situation know exactly what happened on any account.
Right.
So really what that is people who do know and do have ties to both situations having an emotional outburst on people that they miss. So you wouldn't necessarily take somebody's story, like you wouldn't take the story of if just like I said, if somebody rapes your mother, you know the person who raped your mother, you would not be the one I would go to be a character witness for that guy. You understand?
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna have anything good to say about him. Not a lot of good things to say about him. So that's how.